Hi, third graders. So, just to recap, I want us to take a look at our poster. All right, we're reading Holes and we're keeping in mind that there are some major themes of fate in this book and themes of friendship. Okay, while we read, I will point out any clues that point to those themes. Okay, so fate and friendship. I want us to think about, we know that all good stories follow a story arc or like a mountain from the beginning, the middle, and the end. And almost every amazing story has a problem at the core of it. And the problem here in this story is that Stanley is at Camp Green Lake after being wrongfully convicted of theft. Right? So that's our basic setup, our main character and his problem. I wrote about the point of view, and maybe while I'm reading today, you can sort of look for the clues yourself. But the point of view of this book was written in third person, okay? That means the narrator, the person who is telling us this story, is not a person who's involved in the action, okay? The narrator kind of knows everything. They're not actually in the action, but they know everything, and they even know things that go on in all the characters' heads, okay? How do I know that? Well, the clue words to identify third person is that the narrator, when the narrator talks about people, they say he, she, it, or they use the characters' names. The narrator never says I, because they're not actually in the action. They're talking about all the people. All right? Okay. And one other thing, actually, I think I'll wait till I read to talk about that. All right, so we left off at chapter 6, okay? Stanley took a shower, if you could call it that, ate dinner, if you could call it that, and went to bed, if you could call his smelly and scratchy cot a bed. Because of the scarcity of water, each camper was only allowed a 4-minute shower. It took Stanley nearly that long to get used to the cold water. There was no knob for hot water. He kept stepping into it, then jumping back from it. The spray, until the water just shut off automatically. He never managed to use his bar of soap, which was just as well because he wouldn't have had time to rinse off the suds. Dinner was some kind of stewed meat and vegetables. The meat was brown, and the vegetables had once been green. Everything tasted pretty much the same. He ate it all and used his slice of white bread to mop up the juice. After all, Stanley had never been one to leave food on his plate, no matter how it tasted. "What'd you do?" one of the campers asked him. At first, Stanley didn't know what he meant. "They sent you here for a reason." "Oh," he realized. "I stole a pair of sneakers." The other boys thought that was funny. Stanley wasn't sure why. Maybe because their crimes were a lot worse than stealing shoes. "From a store, or were they on someone's feet?" asked Squid. Neither," Stanley answered. "They belonged to Clyde Livingston." Nobody believed him. "Sweet feet," said X-Ray. "Yeah, right. No way," said Squid. Now, as Stanley lay on his cot, he thought it was kind of funny in a way. Nobody had believed him when he said he was innocent. Now when he said he stole them, nobody believed him either. Clyde Sweet Feet Livingston was a famous baseball player. He'd led the American League in stolen bases over the last 3 years. He was also the only player in history to ever hit 4 triples in one game. Stanley had a poster of him hanging on the wall of his bedroom. Well, he used to have the poster anyway. He didn't know where it was now. It had been taken by the police and was used as evidence of his guilt in the courtroom. Clyde Livingston also came to court. In spite of everything, When Stanley found out that Sweet Feet was going to be there, he was actually excited about the prospect of meeting his hero. Clyde Livingston testified that they were his sneakers and that he had donated them to help raise money for the homeless shelter. He said he couldn't imagine what kind of horrible person would steal from homeless children. That was the worst part for Stanley. His hero thought he was a no-good, dirty, rotten thief.